Why do learners of English often make mistakes like, "Are you agree?" or "Do you angry?" This question is small, but very important. The reason is not laziness. The reason is the way our brain works with language. Very often, the same idea is expressed with different parts of speech in different languages. And people naturally copy the structure of their native language and use it in English. This is called a language calque. It is a very natural process. Let us look at the verb agree. In English, agree is a verb. We say, I agree, you agree, they agree. And when we make a question, we say, do you agree? But in some languages, for example in Russian, this idea is often connected with an adjective. It is connected with the idea of being in agreement, not with doing an action. So the student thinks, agree is like an adjective. And with adjectives in English, we use the verb to be. It changes into the present forms is, am, are. For example, I am happy, she is tired, they are ready. So the student follows this logic and says, are you agree? You can see exactly where the mistake happens. The student thinks agree is an adjective, but in English it is not. That is why the student uses the verb are before the word agree. Now let us look at words angry and afraid. In English, angry is an adjective. We say, I am angry, she is angry. And the question is, are you angry? But in Russian, the idea of being angry or afraid is often expressed with a verb. For example, the word afraid in English is an adjective, but Russian speakers think of it like the verb fear. So the student thinks it is an action and says, do you afraid? The same happens with angry. Russian students think of it like the verb rage and say, do you angry? We see the point of confusion again. These mistakes are natural because your brain works like a map. On this map, it is already printed which parts of speech are used for actions or states. You follow these paths automatically. But in English, the paths can be different. Your brain tries to use old paths that do not fit English grammar. That is why mistakes like, are you agree, happen. So what should you do when you make these mistakes? First, analyze your mistakes and write them down. If you make a mistake in sentence structure, ask yourself, did I copy this from my native language? In English, it is very important to know if a word is a verb or an adjective. This is not obvious in every language. For example, in Indonesian, parts of speech change easily and context shows the meaning. But in English, the part of speech decides the structure of the whole sentence. Make a list of such words and phrases. Over time, this list will grow and help you. Second, remember that thinking in your native language is normal. You cannot completely stop this process, so do not feel bad. But also remember that literal translation is not always correct. When you are not sure, stop and double-check. Third, you can ask ChatGPT to help. You can ask, make a list of common ideas that are expressed through verbs in my language, but through adjectives in English or the other way around. This list will be your safety net. Understanding why the mistake happens is already half the work. When you see the pattern, your brain starts to correct itself automatically. This is how real progress begins.